heard consensus building, what came to your mind?
So my name is Biri Ashileye. So when I heard about consensus building, the first thing that came into my mind is policy discussion.
Okay.
So it can be like a panel where we have each stakeholder group representing the stakeholder. Then we have a stone, like saying what they care about concerning the policy that is being discussed. And then at the end, they have to agree on something that will be applied to all of the stakeholders.
Great. There's no marking scheme, so whatever you say, you are, because I asked that, what came to mind? So we'll go with that. Anyone wants to share something else? Otherwise, anyone? All right. So when we are done, see this question that I asked, when we are done, okay, I'll come back and ask you whether what you had in mind, is it you said yours, okay, whether what you had in mind is the same as have been taught, okay, then we look at it. So thank you very much.
Okay, so you can have a sheet of paper with points that you read through. If I see you going to notes or going to using chat GPT, we'll minus you 15 marks on the spot. And then one person has redeemed the chocolates, and it's a lady. So I'm announcing it. Maureen has redeemed her promise to give me a chocolate. So the rest, you are watching. It's announced publicly. Okay, so we go to action. So we are going to give our contestants the opportunity to speak out first round, to tell us what their position is and why. And we are all going to listen with rapt attention. Is that okay? We are going to give them a chance to speak to the issue on the table, tell us what their position is, what is their stand, first of all, and why. So that will be round one. And then if everything works out, we will see how we'll go to round two, or whether it will be one touch. So I don't know whether you are all on the same level, whether we should go group 1, 2, 3, 4, or you want us to ballot. No, so we can go from group 5, or from group 3, or from group, don't forget I'm moderating, I have the final say. So opinion. You can go from group 5, or from group 3, or from group 1, but whichever way everybody's going to speak. And so as I go and I come to you, the microphone, you just step out. Oh no, just sit down if you want to sit down, so you don't have butterflies in your tummy. And then you speak, you introduce yourself, you say what your position is and why. And so with a 1 and a 2 and a 3, we just go and we give the microphone.
Should I start now?
No, you can say. You can say that.
Okay. Okay. Okay, so please, my name is Alhassan Fatima. I'm representing group 4, and I'll stand for this consensus building. I think we are in favor of the registrant data being published publicly. Oh, that's okay for that. Business. So our constituency is business. And then we agree that the registrant data should be published publicly. Okay, so we agreed on this because when the registrant data is published publicly, it will create some kind of, let's say, accountability and transparency between, let's say, the consumers and then the sellers. That's good to read. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. I didn't limit her. So we move on and we go to group 2.
I think
Hello, colleagues in training. My name is Prince Adam Gefu, and then I'm here to represent Group 2. Yeah. So
Constituency.
constituency is ISP, registrars and registry. Yeah. So for my constituency, we came to the conclusion that we want our the data to be private, but also a bit public. So public in the sense that the system, we will create a system that will be a tiered system where when other stakeholders can have access to the data, but at a cost. So it means that they wouldn't have access to it when they visit the sites, but then they will make a formal request so that when it's approved, then they have access to those data. So that was our stand.
Hey, I'm Sarah, and I'm from the ladies group 5, and our constituency is civil society, internet, end users, and then NGOs. And we are standing against for registrants whose data to be publicly available. Our concern is privacy rights, protection from misuse of personal data, and transparency in data handling. Yeah, yes.
my name is William Nkrumah, and on the issue of registrants' data availability, we want it to be available. In fact, when we look at information systems, we have a principle called CIA. So we are going microphone. Sorry. I'm sorry. We are for the government. Yeah, and in every information system, we have what we call CIA. So that's what we're going to use. So the C is confidentiality, the C is confidentiality, A is availability, and then I is integrity. So it's going to be, it all depends on our system. So some are going to be available to some extent. Okay, shortly, it will be available and then it will not be available. In other words, we are going to consider privacy and then we're going to consider security. Yeah, that's it.
Hello. My name is Aida Francois Daniel. I am from Benin. Please, my English is not very good. What? Of group 1. But I am in last. Group 1 work to a consensus building to make registration data public via security. The registration data to be public is 8 aspects. Firstly, data privacy. Secondly, data security. Third, verification and authentication. Data accuracy. Data minimization. security measure and GDPR. Overall, it is in Group 1, the register data is necessary to be public. So, register data to be public is crucial for security purposes, such as identifying and mitigating cyber threats, facilitating incident response and threat intelligence sharing, and enhancing DNS security and stability. However, privacy concerns and potential abuse need to be addressed. Thank you.
Please clap for them, clap for them. Oh, you are not giving your own people fans. Okay, so they are endorsing you. They say you are doing well, so more of him. So from the responses we've had, Group 1 wants the data to be public, and they've told us why. Group 2 says private and public, that is half and half, and they also told us why. Group 3 says they want it to be private and public, and also defended their position. Group 4 says public and public and public, and Group 5 said no, totally against. No, 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 totally against. And so consequences. She said, Group 5 said against. At least your rep said against. I'm not the one saying it. Group 5 says they didn't say no, but the rep started firmly and said against. So don't worry, we'll give you a chance. So we have heard each other and we represent different constituencies. And so having heard the arguments from your colleague constituencies, you're supposed to take a decision on this issue. You are the council, you are the board, and you are in charge. So you've heard the arguments. I'm going to give you a chance, 2 minutes to go into your head again. And then you come out. We have public, private, and one against. And so I'll give you a chance again to see whether we'll be able to convince, you can talk to each other. I give you 5 minutes and see if we can come out with a different stand. At least you know where you are. Group 1 is public and only public. Group 2 and Group 3 have both for public, private. Some parts of the information should be made public and other parts should be made private. Group 4 is only public, and then Group 5 says no. And so I give you 5 minutes for you to speak out and tell us what change of minds you have or how you want to convince the others. You have 3 mics there and you can speak. If you are ready to speak, just raise your hand and we give you the chance. You are trying to convince your other constituencies. So we are listening to you. Why they should go your way. If you're ready, just ask for the mic and go ahead. So that's Group 4. Please amplify the volume.
So during our discussions to say when it's making your data public it has both some advantages and disadvantages. So in our discussions, we also said, okay, if making the data available somehow also affects sellers, such that some people can, because of identity issues, somebody can actually steal someone's identity, and then it will result in this harm and so many other test issues. So we decided that, okay, we can actually join our brother here who said that registrants' data should be made both public and private. So I think going for that idea too will help us, because if our data is not being, if our
Please stop using your phones. Otherwise, I'll minus. Nobody should send any information to anybody on the stage. I'm a CIDO. So please, otherwise, I'll disqualify you. And you lose your position completely. So all phones away, please. Speak to the issue we are discussing. No communication to your group members. Sorry to interrupt you. Go ahead.
So the data that should be published.
All phones away. Put it on the ground by your side, please. Thank you. Go ahead.
The data that should be published should be limited, so that sensitive information such as your contacts and your email addresses shouldn't be added. But others like your location, and then you can actually keep them. So it's 50-50.
Please clap for her. There's a middle way there. So anybody else? Group 3. Group 3, we are listening.
Yeah, so with our case, as I initially said, okay, we are for the government. So with the government, we know that we have several departments that we take care of. We have diversity, we have all kinds of organizations that we deal with, and we work differently, even though we have one goal. So what we are saying is that when it comes to the information, there are people that can easily get access to the information. And what we want to do is that we want to make the information available, especially maybe for research or maybe for a legislature. Maybe we need the information to deal with a court case. Yeah, with that one, we can control the information, the access to the information, so that we limit it to legislature, or we limit it to the actors that are much concerned with that. And then with that is for legislature. And then we also want it to be confidential. Yeah. And then we want the information to ensure the integrity too. Like when we are transferring the information, we want to make sure that it is well packeted, it is well hidden, so that nobody intercepts with it when it's on its way. So what we are saying is that we want to protect. First, we want to protect. We want to ensure protection. Yeah, I want to ensure public protection. We want people to access the data, but at the same time, we want it to be private, and want it to be secured.
Okay, so you are confusing us now. Okay. I wanted him to land before because I'm not seeing your clear stand.
Okay,
so tell us exactly what your stand is.
Initially, we said we want it to be private, and then want to ensure security of the data.
Private, which means it should not be disclosed.
Yes. It's not going to be disclosed. Yeah, what we are saying is that we have the security aspect. The security aspect is where like people want to just come into the information illegally. Okay. But when we talk about privacy is where we want to protect it. We don't want everybody to gain access to it. It's private. So people
it should not be disclosed.
Yes, it should not be disclosed, but it should be disclosed to some particular people. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah.
So a measured disclosure.
Yeah, what we are saying is that this is the information. It is private. I can get to it, but you can't get to it.
Government can get to it.
Yeah, government it depends on whoever is allowed to get to it. Okay.
So you are against it being made public?
No. Okay. What we are saying is that when I started, I said I deal with so many people. You understand? Others are saying they want it to be available. Others are saying they don't want it to be available.
And you are saying?
We are saying that fine, we want it to be available, but to some extent. Okay, to some extent, because we need people that will use the information for research. So it's not everybody that will get into it.
Wait, I'll give you the chance to come in later.
Yeah, so it's not everybody that will get into it. So we want it to be private. And at the same time, we want it to be available.
You are not in his group. Don't worry. So
what we are saying that we want it to be private, but at the same time, we want it to be public.
okay.
Yeah, but
hear you.
it depends. It depends.
Anybody else wants to convince another constituency? Yes, group 1.
It is important to put religious data in public because if you have one site web and you don't know the originality of this site, we want to make an investigation to see if this site web is original or is one copy. If the data of registrant is not public, you don't have access on it to identify, to make sure the originality of this site web. Is it problem? But it is not all information of registrant made in public. Some information who went to help to identify the registrant.
Merci beaucoup. So group 5, what are you saying?
It's not possible for an NGO going to websites to gain it, and if you publish everything online, then later on, other people, hackers, no hackers are they will go for that information and try use it against you, the one registering for the domain name. Once you know you are the one going to use that name, but at the end, it's already published online. You don't have access to it, but other people have access to it. It's not allowed. So you must have, it must be an agreement between you and the registrar. If you allow them to publish your information online, or it should be private, because you need to have the mandate, everything about your own privacy. That's what we call security. You must have password or whatever you have. So we, the end users, also.
Allow, please go on. Aida.
What people do at the back end is what we see. It was what we see as the beauty. So whatever is published outside, that's what we use and we work with. So it's not allowed for you to publish your information online without notification or notice. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Group 2 hasn't spoken.
Yes.
But remember that you're talking about the data of the registrants.
Yeah.
It's not your website issue you're talking about the data of the registrants. That's what we are asking, whether it should be made public or not. So let's get it clear. Talking about the data of the registrants. So group 2.
Yeah, okay. So group 2, I'll still stand on my point that so it should be made private. But then again,
did you say you're standing on your point?
Yeah, so
the first time, what did you say?
I said it should be made private, but yeah, so same thing.
Which is
It should be made private, but a bit public. Yeah, that's what I said.
So be clear.
Yes. So the thing is, when the data is made public, for legitimate reasons, we can be able to easily track when someone does any phishing attack or maybe send spams and other things to a particular registrant. But then for illegal reasons again, someone can also use that data to do those activities. So it would be best to keep those information private. And then when someone needs to track anyone who has used their data illegally, they will have to send a formal request. So the request will be sent and then it will be vetted. And after vetting, if it's for a legitimate reason, then we give access to that information. So that's my stand.
Business. So I think you belong to different constituencies, and as your colleague from other constituency speaks, you should be able to speak to the issues that they are raising that you think that they are blind to, because you're trying to come to a decision here.
I was
mine on just 1 minute.
Yeah.
Mention your constituency so that they can get the trigger from which angle you are coming from and see how they can convince you either to step down or to join them or whichever it is.
Okay.
And put
Okay, so-
yourself in their shoes. Look at the angles from which they are coming.
Okay, all right.
So group 2, let's hear you again briefly this time.
Yeah, so I was basing my point on the concern raised by group 1, and my constituency is in the ISP and then the registrars. So on behalf of the registrars, I'm speaking for the fact that the data should be made private, but then again, we would take into consideration the fact that group 1, what's your constituency name? Security. Yeah, so he spoke of the fact that it would be a good idea for the information to be public for easy tracking of illegal activities done by others. Then, so for that matter, that's why the formal request has to be made so that we vet, and then if his reason was legit, then we would give access to him for the data. So that was the reason for my.
I see you nodding. Security. I don't know if you want to rebut it. Government, you're not speaking. NGOs, business.
Okay, so what I want you to understand and agree with me
Yeah, go ahead.
is that fine? The information should be available, but an access control should be put in place, because when you read the question or the assignment, it says that it's not always possible. When you want to go in, sometimes it will refuse and other times it will allow. So what we are saying is that it should be available, but it should be private. The private in the sense that nobody can gain access to it. So an access control should be put into place so that those people concerned, those that want to go in, they can go in. And those that want to go in illegally will be denied. So that's why your information will be protected. Okay? Your information will be protected. You can go in. But what we want to say, what we want to do is that we want to also protect your information. The information is there, but we want to protect you. Okay? So what we are saying is that we will give you an access control, a password or whatever, very, very strong. So that if you want to go in, then you can go in. If somebody illegal, a cyber crime, whatever, wants to go in, it will deny the person. You understand? And again, what I'm saying is that if we need the information for maybe research, okay, yeah, we will contact you and then we will tell you that this is what we want to do with the information. And then we'll talk to the person concerned, maybe the government or statistical department or whoever wants access to the information, then we'll let you know. So you are protected.
So have you won group 1 and 2 over? I can see them not.
You are protected. Because
yes, group 1 has
our information is there. Not anybody can enter into it. It's only you can enter into it. Nobody can enter into it. If there's anybody who wants your information for research, we'll let you know. That maybe statistical service wants your information to do some research, and we'll let you know before they gain access to it. So the information is protected. Don't worry, it is there, but it's protected.
Group 4, are you saying, give a group 4 the mic, she's talking. Group 4, we want to hear you. Business.
I want you to understand that. You see, we normally
That's government speaking, government.
informations are there for you to just glance through to know what they are about. But I don't know where your answer. Is it the one that you will not publish online, but yours will publish online, or this thing, or the ones that normally we all go and have glance through it and we know what it's about, and if you want to apply or join, you have a link and stuff, and want to start your
Okay, what I want you to understand is that there's going to be a link where you have to access the information. Okay, yeah. So if you are the authorized person to access the information, you gain access to it. But if you're not authorized, you will never gain access to it. It is there. Okay, but you have to access it. Okay, so if you are not the authentic person to access the information, you will be denied.
authentic. Everybody wants to know what is their job, but so how do you find it is authentic or not?
Because I'm going to give you some credentials, okay? Then you are going to access the information. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm going to make the system in a such a way that is to be very, very sensitive. Very, very sensitive.
Yeah.
Very, very sensitive. Okay. Very, very sensitive that when you want to access it, I can even use your eye access or something. Okay. Yeah, I can even use anything of that sort, any access control method to make sure that it is you, the one who is accessing the information. Okay. I will put that into place. I'll fix it.
That information. I want to criticize what is there, but actually you think I'm come to infuriate in this. But and I want to learn. Some people they are curious to like they're going to coding to get what they want and not about them going to take your information out, but they just want to know what is there. They're going to code not for your knowledge.
Yeah.
This person is legit for you to have the access to the
Okay.
to have the mindset of the person.
Okay. What I want to tell you is that we have something we call second authentication factor. Okay. With that one, I can even use your phone. If you are accessing it, I will prompt you through your phone that are you the one or is somebody else? So there are several.
You are logging in your Gmail to have you saying are you the one? But actually the person will say yes, I'm the one.
Except you share your phone or something. Okay, up for your personal phone number. Okay, somebody.
Yeah, so
And remember that talking about the registrants
so
information, not your website content, the registrants, registrant information. Yeah. So let's have your stand.
So it's what group 3 has said, I'm not convinced, and it hasn't been clear because on which basis is the credentials let's say made available to the person to access, and is the person accessing their own data or other people's data? So it isn't clear.
Group 2, what's your stand?
My stand is still the data being made private, and then by request, when the request is vetted and is formally approved, the data is provided. So yeah, no, it's not the same. It's not the same because he said that credentials will be given to you. You authenticate to access your own data, and it's.
So the credentials is that when you are registering for the domain, you already have your password and everything.
But that's to check your.
Exactly.
No others.
Group 2, can you tell us how you are going to run your private public presentation of the data of the registrant? Help us to appreciate your stand. How are you going to achieve your private public presentation of the registrant's data?
Okay, so with whatever I've said so far, firstly, the registrant data is going to be private. But then again, we will set up a system where if you need to access the registration data by legitimate means, so it means that maybe you might have to go through a law enforcement agency or by a formal request from. So we would vet the request that will come, and then if the request is legal, then we will give access. But that one, we are not giving access to the system, but we will rather provide you the data. And that data will be screened.
Against it's being made public.
Yes, I'm against
should
it.
be private.
It should be
You
private.
have changed your stand from private public to against.
Okay, yes. So I'm against it being public. But then again, the data that will be provided to you will be screened very well and make sure that only the data you are supposed to get is provided to you. So it means that not everything will be given to you, but only few information about the entity or the registrant will be given to you. That's our stand.
Group one.
If free say legal data private, and if people ask request
Correct.
not to, if request is accepted, she had access to the information. The register data, I have two types of data. Data of identification and sensitive data. It is not sensitive data to make public. The sensitive data, it is in big security. Don't access. When people
We have time. Okay, so random.
access to sensitive data, they are blocked. Now, if people have request information to identify who make this site web, who are these women registered, it is normally to have access in there, but either to access the historical, to visit people who are visit and collect information from this site web. She help to the investigation if if have an issue. But if all data is in private, is a complicated process.
Okay.
Normal identification data is in private. So I leave access.
Free access. Thank you. Libre, free.
Free access for all, but sensitive data is in private, not access only.
Okay.
Register only register.
Thank you. So our final verdict. You are the EGIGFA ICANN board. And you're supposed to resolve this issue. We have heard each other. So for the last time, we come around to you and everybody has just half a minute, 30 seconds to tell us what your stand is, having heard what your other colleagues have said, and would judge. So we start from group 5. You've heard the others, you've heard government, security, business. So tell us from the explanations they've given, what is your final take on the issue of making registrant data public or not public or partially public or partially whatever? Let's hear your stand and tell us why in half a minute.
I need to have, it's only me who must have access to that, not the whole world. Things like the private.
Group 5 for you. Clap for group 5, that's their stand. Group 4.
in privacy. Sensitive information should not be displayed. So we are waiting for public limited public private privacy.
Please clap for your. Thank you. Group 3.
So if we are saying that it should be
Government.
saying that it should be public, but accessible to the right people.
Who are?
The right people who are the registrants. Yeah. It should be public, but it should be accessible to the right people, the registrant. It should be public, and then there should be privacy too. So that we can satisfy all of them.
Group 2, constituency. ISP and the red. Okay.
Should be private, but then again for transparency, benefits of not businesses. Trying to track down legal source, legal address. It should be made available requests. And that request should have been present. So that's
Messi. Thank you.
Considering some data the problem and sensitive data needed. So government name is not in country, it is all of the world. All of the world. If people have request the information,
Should we?
don't go on
Before we move on, just
sensor,
if we had time with that,
you have access to notification information. In history, I know, on Tuesday, 10 hour, one people on IP address consult this information. Thank you.
Can we clap for them? So the EGIGFA account board has to go on recess for a few hours, maybe tomorrow or the day after. They'll reconvene. In between, they'll be consulting each other to see how they can influence the decision of the other parties, rightly or wrongly. And then maybe, hopefully, before we leave you on Friday, the EGIGFA icon board will come out with a clear stand on whether the registrant data should be made public or private. Can we all get up and give them a clap as they take their seats? And can we pass here for a candy each? Come and take a candy. Help yourself to some candy and give me the rest.
So you are on recess. You will come back. Because at the end of the day, we need one voice. So I'm sure you are beginning to get a picture. Okay, so when there's is it the G8, right? When they meet and they need to take a decision on some global issue, I think so you can begin to picture what will be happening. And when they say there's a deadlock, we haven't agreed on anything. These are some of the reasons. These are some of the reasons. But the beauty is that at the end of the day, there should be a compromise. So you are on recess, so we are done with that one. Okay, so yes, we are done finally.